Today we're going to show you how to do the EMP seat delete for the S197 Mustang. We're going to show you to get the seats out first and put the seat delete in, then we'll be good to go. We'll start by removing the bottom first. In the center of the cushion here, lift it up and there's a tab. You push that tab in and you can get the seat up. You can see right here, it's this little tab. You push it in, seat pulls right up. Right there. Then do the same for the other side. And then this bottom section just comes right out. Okay, normally there would be a bolt here, 13 millimeter, another one here with a bracket holding these two seats together, and another bolt over here. But these bolts have already been removed. But it's pretty simple. You just remove these three bolts. Then you come up here. There's the pull tab on the side. You pull it, and then you can remove each seat back. You do the same for the other side. Pull that tab off. Then you can pull the seat back off. And then it might be a little bit tricky with the bracket that's between there, but you can pull it out a little bit and then disconnect that bracket. Okay, then we're going to remove each of these seat brackets. Just use a 10 millimeter, and you can just pull all four of these bolts out. And that's it.
All right, so for this part right here, you are going to want to look at this spacer. You're going to look at the side with no holes on it. Here's the side with holes. Look at this side. And you're going to take the supplied piece of Velcro here and just kind of put it on it like so. And then just make sure it's straight on there. And you're going to want to take a ballpoint pen or just something to accurately mark it with. And mark out this piece right here to be cut. There we go. And then once you've done that, you can then take it out and then use some scissors and try to cut it as accurately as possible so it looks as good as possible. Or a razor blade. Scissors or razor blade. Alright, so now that you've got a cut in the shape of this, you're going to want to take one side off so you can stick it to this, but don't take that side off yet until you're installing this piece. So, we are going to take off the adhesion, this thing, the paper on the back of this thing, and tear it. Okay, once it's off, you are going to want to put it on this like so, and just make sure it's lined up good, like so. Kind of hit it on there a little bit, make sure it's stuck. It's strong tape, so you're not going to work that hard to do that. But yeah, leave this side on for now. But now we're going to divert our attention to these 1032 half-inch bolts and this Allen wrench. Can't remember what the size is, but
1/8 inch.
Yeah, 1/8 inch Allen wrench. And you're gonna want to look through the holes on this and make sure you get it lined up right. And then once you do, best to just start with one hole so you can not have to hold it in place like that. All right. Now once you got that in there, can leave it loose a little bit so it can still turn, but
And don't over tighten these.
yeah, don't do that. Yeah, they are being screwed into a 3D printed spacer, so over tightening would definitely not be good. But they're still good though, they're still reliable. So about that much. It's pretty good. So yeah. Now that you've got that, this is just another piece that is ready to go for the install that is just better done outside of the car, so you don't have to do it awkwardly. So now that that's done, we can get back to the rest of the install.
Make sure that you install it with this facing the way it is, because that's how it has to go in the car.
For the back install, we're going to do it as if you just got this and you haven't installed it yet. Same with our seat delete, just got it, haven't installed it. So what you're going to want to do to make this really easy for yourself is you're going to want to get it like perpendicular with the X-Brace and kind of go in at an angle like he just did. Get that all right. Get that right side on first and then work that left side in. Make sure that all of these pieces are behind this plate right here, while simultaneously trying to be really careful about your seat delete because obviously you don't want to damage it. And just keep in mind, you're trying to fit an object around another object while trying to keep tight tolerances to make it look good. So don't try to force anything too hard. If you have to force it, you're not doing it right, because we were able to just put it right on there.
Yes, whenever you tilt it back, you'll see the marks where it can fit around this, and you can just line them right up and then tilt it back, and you'll get around these weld points on the Steeda X-Brace.
So really easy. Just do that, and then you can hold it by the X-Brace and get it put into your car like that.
Right, and if you have a custom plate like we made for this one here, then there's just 6 screws and nuts that hold it on. Yeah, pretty simple. All right, so once you get your seat deletes out, you're going to want to remove these brackets. Take out these 4 bolts, same on the other side. Get those removed, and then you'll be putting the screws, different screws that we supply, in there to hold the X-Brace on, and then you'll be putting another screw we also supply to plug these holes, because these holes go to the outside.
Now that you've got those brackets off, you can get your assembled back part of the seat delete and the X-Brace in here, so you can cover those bolts up that we just talked about. Might want some help when it comes to this part. It is kind of difficult to do on your own, but you can also just sit in the center of your back seat area and hold up that middle part with your feet and make sure that all the holes are lining up and the back part of the seat delete is sitting flush against the wall. And then once you've got it flush all up here and lined up with the holes and everything, you can put these silver bolts in the 4 holes that we just took the bolts out of earlier. Alright, next you're going to take the other 2 silver screws that we supplied you to replace those ones you took out earlier, and you're just going to screw them in. They don't hold anything down, they're just to plug these holes, because these holes just go to the outside, so it'll keep a little bit of the environment out of your car, and maybe even prevent a little bit of noise coming from these holes. So it's just worth putting them in there.
And final torque on these, is 20 pound-feet for these bottom ones, and then the top ones, once they're finally installed, those are 17 pound-feet.
Alright, now we're going to work on putting the strap in there with these 4 bolts. Yours will look better than this. We've been testing with these. And just a little bit of info. Make sure that the screws down here, you don't tighten them all the way just yet, because you want to still be able to move it a little bit, because the X-Brace doesn't fully line up with these the bolt holes. So you'll have to be able to do that so that it does line up, and you can get the EMP strap on there and get these hand tightened. So you're going to start with one of them outer holes, and then take care of one of these as well, so that it can keep itself straight and lined up.
Right, so with the carpet, you know, fold it in half. And then you can just, you know, about a little over 1/4 inch over, cut in about, you know, 2.5 inches. You can cut it there so that you can make your notch in the center to go around this bolt.
Alright, now you are going to take the piece of carpet that you just cut and you are going to slide it underneath the stock carpet and just get it pulled up over on this side and just let it hang over here, and then same thing for this side. Pull it in, let it hang over there, and then you just want that notch going around this bolt right here because you're going to be using that one later. Alright, now you're going to take the spacer piece that we did earlier and you're just going to stick it back behind here for easy access whenever we do the bottom part. So, and then whenever you have the bottom part, then you're just going to have to kind of take it out at a little bit of an angle so you can get the other side in there good, and then you'll just line it up and then we will fully install it once we have the back in. So we are going to do that now.
And then before you put in the bottom, you're going to want to torque these 2 bolts to 20 pound-feet. You know, go ahead and get them fully tightened. But don't tighten these 4 up here yet, because you might still need to, you know, adjust the seat delete a little bit. So wait on those.
Before we get this bottom piece up in there, you're gonna have to get this bolt and these washers on these farthest outside bolts. But to get them to stick so you have a much easier time installing this bottom piece when it's in the car, you're going to take just a small piece of paper and put it over the washer, and then just put your bolt through that hole, and then put the washer through that piece of paper, and then this should hold it.
Dick and that shouldn't fall off. If it is still loose, just try it again or fold the paper over, but get it to where it'll hold that spacer in place so it's easier to put in the car. It's a lot easier if that thing is stuck on there and then you're just gonna, you know, bolt it straight down.
Now we're ready for the bottom part, and whenever you're putting that in, we're gonna make it go at a really specific angle, so make sure you're careful about that. But before we do that, we are gonna make sure that this carpet piece, the bolt, is visible, and you know, if it doesn't stay exactly where you want it, that's fine. Whenever you put this in there, you can one, be careful because it's sharp. There's a reason that we have the weapons grade mod things, and 2, watch for the particular angle. So if it's not fitting right away, just keep slowly adjusting that angle until it fits just right, so that you can get it around these pipes.
And you can bend those triangular shaped pieces right there to get it to fit in there better.
Okay, so yeah, just from all that, don't rush it. It's gonna take a second to get it in there, so just, we try to make the fitment as good as possible. So, you know, sometimes it's a little hard to get things just right, but it's all worth it in the end because the fitment looks really good. When you're installing this, be careful with this part right here because it can be fragile when bent the wrong way. So you're not, like, looking at it this way, you do not want to bend this piece down. This piece can only be bent this way. And when you're installing it, don't try to pre-bend it or anything. Just slide it back there onto where the bolt will fit right here, and just push it up to where that spacer hits it right here, and just try to be as careful as you can with it so that this piece does not break off. So once this is in here, you're going to want to take this middle piece again, and just grab it and get this little U-shaped piece around the bolt hole down there, while also making sure that carpet stays away from blocking this hole.
And make sure your carpet over on the sides, make sure that's all good, that down in here you see black and you don't see your car color. Make sure that your carpet stays in place.
So once again, just try and take your time, don't rush it. So to make sure that this bolt goes in there straight and you don't cross thread anything, you're going to want to grab the seat delete from right here and just push forward decently hard.
Backward.
Yeah. And so you can get that bolt lined up properly. Again, while continuing to make sure the carpet is still lined up. Alright, so for that middle piece, once you've got it around the bolt and the bolt, is holding it there, you're going to want to reach back there and just pull it forward. And for you are going to be removing this white tape and sticking it on there once you know that this is level how you want it in the rotation like that is good. Then you're going to remove this and stick it. And then once that's done, you're good with the middle piece. And then now we're going to be going to these outside bolts, which over there is how you want it to look when you're installing it, so you can reach under and put the washers on. But I'm going to show you how you can get this bottom piece up from behind the back piece.
And then just make sure when you're doing this, that you pull it really tight once you've taken that off. And this is a prototype spacer, but your space would be a little bit lower and you're not so much sticking out here. And you'll still have access to the bolt hole as well, because there's the U that's in there that will clear that bolt hole so you can add your custom plate.
We are going to show you how to get the spacers underneath the seat delete and the bolts into these holes. I've already got that one in over there, but we're going to show you how to do it on this one. So I kind of had to get mostly out of the car over here and have the spacer in my left hand. I'll lift this up a little bit and try and get as much of your arm in there as possible. Just kind of laying down, and then you can just kind of feel around for the hole. Once you find it, you can get the other bolt in there just like that, and the bolt will be hitting the metal. The bolt will be hitting the metal like this, so you can take your arm out. Just make sure that you don't go with the bolt, because then you're going to lose the spacer.
Just be careful. Edges and everything's going to end up cutting yourself.
Yes. And then once that's like that, you're going to want to push up on the seat delete, put your knee on it, and find that bolt, which that was pretty quick. And then just get it in there.
And yeah, it's important whenever you're doing all three of these bolts for the bottom panel is getting your knee on it, about the middle of the seat delete, and pushing down, because the back part there where the bolts are is angled. So you got to push it down, and it will end up forcing the seat delete to conform to the back seat.
All right, now that you've got all those, every bolt in here, you're going to take a 13mm socket and bolt everything down. And for the bottom part, don't forget still that you have to have your knees on it so you can tighten it down properly. So we are going to do that. All right, bottom is installed.
And before you do that middle one, make sure that you check the gap there. We didn't check the gap, so we just need to loosen it back up, and then we can pull that back, because we don't have it mounted right now, but yours would already be mounted, and you'd have your gap closed there. So just make sure to check that gap, and should be good to then make sure your back is all in place. Check the sides and everything in the back, before you tighten these down. And then, we'll tighten them. First, going to tighten down with this, but then if you want to do the final tighten, you need to do it to 17 pound-feet.
All right, we're going to torque these down to 17 foot-pounds. See right there, 17. And you're going to use your 13 millimeter socket. Right there.